Cindy Holt. Welcome to Tea and Transfers. Today we're going to talk about the great technique of transferring to polymer clay. It's really easy to do. Just rubbing alcohol, a little cotton pad, and your sheet of clay. Let's get started. Okay, to get started with your transfers, the most important thing you need is a laser printed image. Now, kids' art is a great way to start. Take their pencil art, scan it, darken it, and then print it out on a laser printer. I even have done some textures that I found in Photoshop. I like to take some of my photographs and create line images and then print those out and use them. It has to be a laser print. You can't use an inkjet print. Then just simply put it face down on the clay. Soak a piece of cotton with rubbing alcohol, and you can see this is just plain old rubbing alcohol, nothing special. Now, because this is going face down, your image is going to be reversed. So make sure that if you're working in the computer, especially if you have letters, that you reverse it left to right, or your image is going to come out backwards. Now, it's very important that you soak the entire piece of paper or it'll start to curl. Soak it as quickly as you can, and then let it set. Now, this is one that I've started just a little bit earlier. Once you soak it, let it sit till it dries up just a little bit, and then you can re-soak it. You can rub it a little bit with your cotton. Now let's check and see if we have anything transferring on this one. Now I slowly pull the image up and look. Not yet. Okay. I normally start several of these at different stages so that as I work with them I can continue to monitor them and keep them soaked. While they're soaking, I'm going to show you some of the things that I've done with it. I love to do the portraits. Once it's baked, I can color them with my soft lead colored pencils. I can even blend them on there if I want to. The real fun with that is you can make a three-dimensional image. When my son was little, he had those cheeks to die for. You always wanted to pinch. So when I baked this, I put cotton balls underneath so that I had the ripples here on his cheeks, his forehead, and the palm of his hand. I don't know if you can see that on there. It's really fun. You can also just straight transfer these to a colored clay. This is that texture that I showed you earlier, or a similar one. There we go. And it's transferred to the clay, and I used it to make a bracelet. You can color them with alcohol-based inks. This is a card that I made using the pinata inks and a brush. And here's a bracelet that I made in the same way. These are both patterns that I adapted from a photograph that I had, and I created a line drawing out of it to transfer to the clay. Hey, let's check how our transfers are doing here, okay? Always before you try to peel the paper up, re-soak it a little bit. Don't overdo your soaking. I think that if you get too much on there, you tend to get a little bit of a purple bleed around your black lines. There we go. Now we're starting to see an image here. If you see something that hasn't quite transferred, just put the paper down and rub it just a minute with your finger and continue to pull. Excelente! Now you see these pieces of paper that are left on here? That's no problem because you can take your cotton that's soaked with alcohol and just wipe those right off. Isn't that cool? Now let's see how this one's doing over here. Now that image is pretty set on there. I can rub it with my finger and it's not going to move, which is great because if you're using the alcohol-based inks and you're painting it on, you might even want to think about painting it before you bake it. Let's see how this one's doing. I like to leave myself a lead edge corner that I can use. This one's not quite ready yet. Depending on the temperature and the day and the humidity, that will cause a variance in how long it takes for these to transfer. There was some talk several years ago about you had to have a very fresh transfer for it to transfer. These are probably 7 years old and they still transfer just fine. Once it's transferred to the clay, trim it out, bake it, and then you can use it to build your card, your jewelry, whatever you want to do with it. When I do the jewelry, especially like the bracelets here, that image is set on there, so I don't have to worry about smearing it while I'm working on building the bracelet. Have a great time with your images. Let's go have some more tea. Thanks.